What's going on, guys, and welcome back to F1 22 for My Team Career Mode, round number 5 of Season 1, the Miami Grand Prix. Now, first of all, sorry I haven't uploaded in a week. Now, I'm pretty sure it is a week from today, maybe even just over a week. Basically, my partner had COVID. She got it Wednesday last week, and I managed to hang off, but I managed to get it on Sunday, and it's currently Thursday the 21st as I'm recording and hopefully uploading this. I'm just starting to get over it now. Basically, I've had this round recorded since I think Wednesday or Thursday last week, but I hadn't quite finished editing it, and before I got sick, and then I haven't been able to record the audio for it because I just haven't been well enough to do it. So I'm going to try and do it today. I'm still not feeling 100%. You can probably hear the nasaliness in my voice, so I may not be quite as energetic as usual, so I do apologize for that. Also, there may be little kind of cuts here and there in the audio where you won't hear me for a couple of seconds because I'm like clearing my throat or coughing or something. I really want to get this video uploaded today if I can, because I'm a week behind now. We're only on round 5. And there's people, finishing season 1 of a 22 race season when we're only doing a 16 race season. So I really want to try and catch up a little bit here. So I do apologize for that, but we're going to try and get this video out today. And I mean, I guess you'll know whether you're seeing it on Thursday the 21st or not, whether that's happened or not. But we start with this Miami Grand Prix with a supercar time attack. So this is one of the ones that I haven't done. I think I may have mentioned it last time, but I'm probably just going to do these kind of supercar Pirelli hot lap things until I've done every variant of thing. So this one's the time attack. I think the autocross is the only other one that I haven't done now, unless some more pop up later on. So yeah, once I've done that, I probably won't show you them in the future. I think I'll still keep doing them because it gives me more money and more XP, but I probably won't show them in the videos. So we do that one. We only just miss out on gold by literally less than a second, so that's rather annoying. We put some upgrades on the car before this race weekend, but unfortunately a couple of them have failed. Chassis and a powertrain upgrade both failed, so we're going to re-put those on the car. They'll come in a couple of rounds time. I think they might come in for Spain actually. And looking at R&D, well, we are just right there still with Aston Martin, literally right on top of us. Mercedes have actually caught right up to Red Bull now, and Ferrari still a decent gap at the top, so going to be interesting to see what Mercedes can pull out of the bag here, whether they can kind of bridge the gap to those top teams and start scoring podiums and maybe even getting race wins in this season. It'd be interesting to see. I think it's going to happen eventually with Mercedes, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how early they can start doing that. So on to the Miami Grand Prix qualifying. Now this track, of course, it's the only brand new track in this game. Of course, you've got tracks like Australia, Spain, and Abu Dhabi that have all had kind of improvements and changes happen to them, but this is the only brand new map that, or at least at the moment, unless there's going to be some DLC, because there is rumors that there may be some DLC tracks. I really hope there will be, but nothing is actually confirmed for that as of yet, I don't believe. But it's the only brand new map so far, and brand new track, sorry. And I think it's a decent track. There's definitely, I mean, this section here, the kind of upwards corkscrew section is a little bit too ridiculous, I think, personally, but it's okay, I guess. It works. It's a bit different. But yeah, big long straights, which I will be honest, I don't think are going to favour our car here. Of course, the My Team car, very draggy in the first season, very heavy and everything, so I think we're going to have potential issues down the straights getting overtaken. But yeah, the actual track itself though, it's a fairly fun track to drive actually. It's something a bit different. I just generally like driving a new track. Lewis Hamilton goes quickest in Q1, so there you go, Mercedes showing some good pace, at least with Lewis Hamilton there. We once again just miss out on Q2, it's P17, once again matching our best qualifying from Australia. I think it was Australia. Of course there we scored points, so let's see if we can get points here in Miami.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the National Football League outfit, the Miami Dolphins. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Russell, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Ocon and Lando Norris, Magnussen, Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo and Vettel, Stroll, Shaw, Fernando Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou, Tsunoda, Albon, Liam Lawson and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Alright, so formation lap time for the first ever Miami Grand Prix in this game. So yeah, like I said, it's an interesting track. It's a bit of a different track, and I think I don't know if it's really going to suit our car a whole lot. We've got both Aston Martins ahead of us, which I guess they're kind of our main rivals at the moment in a lot of ways. Yes, McLaren are just behind us in the standings, but I think they're going to move their way up the grid and be ahead of us in a fairly short amount of time. But we go to 5 red lights for the Miami Grand Prix as we get underway for the first time here in Miami, Florida, and it's a decent start from us, but then we get a massive kick to the right off the start, just a bit of a wheel spin. But we're going to dive on the two Aston Martins into turn one here alongside Sebastian Vettel, but we just can't quite hang on to that because he's also under fire from Daniel Ricciardo. Now we've got his teammate Lance Stroll alongside us, but we're just about going to manage to keep in front of him. We've got a very fast starting Fernando Alonso behind, who took a grid penalty, so he's trying to make his way through the order after that unfortunate event from the grid penalty. But we've managed to defend from those two behind and stay behind Sebastian Vettel at the moment. And it is mainly, I'd say, the Aston Martins that we are racing with here. Those are, I mean, it's the Aston Martins, it's the Williams, which I think the Williams we have a decent enough pace advantage on. The Aston Martins are pretty much neck and neck with us on paper, as Stroll is actually having a little look around the outside into this next left-hand corner, but he can't quite make anything stick at that point in time. The Aston Martins, they're pretty much right there with us on paper. I think on a track like this, they are a little bit quicker because of the, the drag reduction and stuff. I think through the corners, it's fairly similar. Maybe we have a slight edge, but I think over the course of a lap, and I mean, I guess it showed it in qualifying, the Aston Martins are a little bit quicker than us on this track. The Williams, I think, are a bit further behind, so we should be able to keep away from them. And then you've got some faster cars like Guan Yu Zhou in the Alfa Romeo, Fernando Alonso, of course, in the Alpine. There's Stroll once again going for a move around the outside of one of these final few corners here, but we just about squeeze him out round the final corner and manage to stay ahead. We're in P15, so we've made one position on Lance Stroll off the start here. And we're kind of just hoping that we can keep with the pack ahead and that Alonso can start putting pressure on Stroll behind, because that's going to be the main thing for us here. And sure enough, as we go on to lap number 2, that is exactly what's going to happen. Alonso is in a pretty quick car in that Alpine. I think it's like the 4th or 5th quickest car on paper here, just ahead of the Alfa Romeos, as he makes a beautiful little side-by-side move and a move around the, well, inside-outside. It's kind of like an S section. And Alonso is through on Stroll. Doesn't put quite as much, pressure on him as I was hoping there. Maybe hold him up as much as I was hoping he would, but he's passed. But that now means that he's going to be coming after us. And although I shouldn't really be fighting Alonso, part of me kind of wants to, and he's going to go for a bit of an unorthodox move to the inside of this next corner, but I'm just going to keep my foot in, because that's actually one of my best parts on this track. It's kind of a fast right-left corner, especially that first left. I can go a lot quicker than the AI through that corner. The game kind of tells me to brake quite a lot, whereas I just kind of have a little bit of a tap on the brake and throw the car in, and that seems to work a lot better for me than it does the AI, and it just gives me a great run through that corner. It does though mean that Alonso is quite a bit quicker down this, not quite straight, but it's a very flat out section, that's for sure. But we managed to just about defend from him for now, because on one hand I don't really want to fight with Alonso, but on the other hand I also don't want to lose time to Vettel. Letting Alonso past, I don't know, in hindsight maybe that was what I should have done. Maybe I should have let Alonso go past me, but it's just not what we ended up doing. I think, no, I do still have DRS at this point in time from Vettel just about in front, but I mean, you can see how close Alonso is behind me, and he's actually going to go for a dive up the inside of this straight here, and we're not going to fight it too much on the end here, to be honest. Maybe fight it a little bit, but we're not going to fight it too much, and Alonso is going to find his way past onto the main straight, and yeah, we're not really going to fight this one back a whole lot. Just taking a drink of water there. As we have a look at the front of the grid, the two Ferraris are leading the way, but it's actually Lewis Hamilton in third place in the Mercedes with Max Verstappen behind him. So like I said, on R&D, Mercedes were looking like they've caught right up to the back of Red Bull. Not quite ahead of them on R&D yet, but they are right there with them, with Ferrari still a decent gap up ahead. And at the moment, Mercedes are showing that by, well, at least Lewis Hamilton is showing that by just being ahead of Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. And I think Russell may also be ahead of Perez. So interesting battle developing between those two there. As you have a look up ahead of us, Fernando Alonso trying to make a move on Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, a little bit of contact made there would mean that Alonso would have to come in for a pit stop. So unfortunately for him, this race is not turning out well, with a grid penalty and now having to take another, an extra pit stop and a front wing change. It's pretty much going to ruin his race, I think. As we continue on here, we're keeping a good gap actually to Stroll behind, but we're not managing to really make any indents on Vettel in front. And this is the annoying thing. The Aston Martins are kind of in this annoying spot where, especially when they're close to cars ahead and they have DRS and slipstream, they're really difficult to catch up to. But yeah, we're just going to have to keep trying to go for it here, as Vettel up ahead is actually battling with Gasly, because Gasly over the radio has an issue. But what's going on here? Gasly's wanting to come into the pits. Vettel does not want to come into the pits. There's a massive issue there. Gasly's now in the middle of the track. Zhou Guanyu has to stop on the front straight there to let him go. Let's just have a look at an onboard view here from Sebastian Vettel. These two going side by side. Vettel trying to go around the outside, but then Gasly wants to go into the pit lane on this lap. Vettel does not, and he's just pushing him across. Gasly eventually backs out, and it makes it work. That gives us two positions right there as we are coming into the pit that time out. So that is really, really stupid from the AI. I kind of wish they would fix that with the AI. I've had that happen a couple of times in F1 2021 as well. First time I've seen it in this game. But yeah, you know, one AI wants to go in the pits, the other doesn't. They're side by side. They really need to sort something out for that. You know, it's a bit ridiculous. We come out of the pits just ahead of Fernando Alonso, actually, because yeah, he had to come in earlier for that front wing change, but he's now onto a set of hard tyres. He's had plenty of laps to warm his tyres up. We have not, and we pretty much went straight on at that corner, and in the end we just kind of had to let him pass because our tyres are completely stone cold. As we have a look at one of the Haas cars right here, of, I believe this is Kevin Magnussen. He is shaping up a move on a couple of cars up ahead. That is one of the McLarens and one of the Alpha Tauris, as he's having a look, and I think they're ready to go 3 wide. They are going 3 wide into this corner right here. Magnussen dives up the inside of the two, and I think, yeah, no, he's still got an Alpha Tauri alongside him right there. No, it's actually Lando Norris in the McLaren who's ahead at the moment, and he keeps the head of this train. Magnussen, sorry, though, has managed to get ahead of the Alpha Tauri. I'm not sure which Alpha Tauri that was. I believe it might have been Sonoda, but yeah, not 100% sure there. But only a few laps, or it might have even just been literally at the end of that lap. Lando Norris now has a mechanical failure. His engine goes up in smoke. It's another Mercedes mechanical failure this season, so that's not great considering we've got Mercedes power in our car. But hey, it is what it is. But now behind me, the two Aston Martins are now battling it out. This is good that we've managed to get ahead of these guys, and now they're battling each other after Vettel's bit of an issue there with Gasly earlier on. And it's actually Stroll making a move on his more experienced teammate, and he manages to get the position, and he will now try to close up on me. But Stroll, not quite as quick as Vettel here, was aided quite a bit there with the DRS and slipstream. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what can happen. Stroll holding up his teammate could definitely play into our hands right about now. As we continue on here through this very, very squiggly section and onto this back straight, like I said, this back straight is just a terrible place for me. Just, we don't have the pace, and we also have an issue right now of fuel. For some reason, even though I put plenty of fuel in the car, we don't seem to have enough fuel to get us to the end of the race. So I'm having to be a little bit cautious here, and I'm kind of praying for a safety car, because if we don't get one, I could be having an issue with fuel at the end of this race, kind of like we did in Bahrain. As the two Ferraris are potentially battling it out front here, but it's Charles Leclerc currently leading the way. He's trying to make his way up the Drivers' Championship after a pretty poor start to the season, at least compared to his teammate. Of course, Carlos Sainz winning the first two races of the season, while Leclerc won last time out in Imola. He's trying to make it back-to-back wins here to cement himself in this championship fight. We're continuing on with the two Aston Martins still hot on our heels behind us, but not really quite close enough. But the problem is, I want to stay ahead of these guys. I'm actually currently in P11? I think I'm currently in P11 or 13 or something like that. Can't quite read it. Not quite in the points, I don't think. But yeah, I need to be saving fuel here, but I also, if I start saving fuel, I'm just going to let the two Aston Martins pass, and I really don't want to do that. But lap number 24, Stroll ahead of Vettel, as you can see right now. But now, that is another Mercedes engine going up in smoke, and that's Lance Stroll out of the Miami Grand Prix. It is a terrible race for him, and as we come, Guan Yu Zhou has gone straight into the side of Lance Stroll. There are parts of car flying everywhere, and I think there may have been an AlphaTauri caught up in that as well. But as you can see there, Stroll just goes up in smoke. Zhou Guanyu smashes into the side of him, and that is Yuki Tsunoda who smacks into the side of Zhou Guanyu as well. It is a big, big crash here. Two cars out of the race, three cars if you're including Lance Stroll. Just looking at all the angles right here. It looks like Pierre Gasly, just behind these guys, just about managed to slam on the brakes just in time to avoid this whole mess, and thankfully goes into ghost mode. So, pretty crazy crash there. That is one of the Aston Martins out of this race though, but we've still got Vettel behind us. Now though, we're sitting in whatever position we're sitting in. I think it's P13. We've got Fernando Alonso up ahead of us, and I'm kind of feeling a bit opportunistic here, especially because my teammate is up ahead. He's a lap down, and he's trying to get out of the way. There's cars all over the place. Alonso gets stuck behind him. We're just going to shoot our way past, make the position up on Fernando Alonso. Now we've got his teammate Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren up ahead. There's only 2 laps of this race to go. Well, a lap and a half technically, including this lap right now. And I don't think we're going to be able to make a move on Ricciardo and Ocon. But if we did get past Ocon, we'd be into the points. So it's definitely not all over yet. At the front of the race, at the front of the grid though, we have Charles Leclerc. He's come through, he's managed to pull a little bit of a gap actually to the rest of the grid. His teammate actually becoming under a slight bit of pressure from Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Leclerc will win his second race in a row, his second race of the season, the Miami Grand Prix. He's well and truly putting himself back into this title fight. We, unfortunately, will not be able to catch up to Ricciardo and Ocon, but we managed to keep in front of Gasly, Alonso and Vettel. We come home in a, I think, decent enough P12 in this race. No points for us, but it's not terrible. Wasn't the most exciting race other than that one crash right towards the end, but yeah, an interesting first Miami Grand Prix.
Ferrari have really really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So there we go, Charles Leclerc wins the first ever Miami Grand Prix, and it's a 1-2 finish for Ferrari with Carlos Sainz in third. Lewis Hamilton will take third place on the podium, knocking Red Bull completely off the podium here for I think the first time this season. So Mercedes potentially getting in this fight. They've got a bit to bridge to get ahead of Ferrari, but yeah, it's interesting to see how this championship is going to shake up. I don't think this is going to put Leclerc in the lead because Sainz has still been very consistent this season, and of course the two drivers ahead of Leclerc in the championship, Sainz and Verstappen, neither of them have had DNFs or 0-point finishes this season so far, so he's not going to be at the top yet, but he's closing up the gap, that is for sure. We can see there Sainz still leads from Verstappen. Leclerc, though, only 20 points behind the leader now. He's making his way up the order. Hamilton moves ahead of Russell. Bottas moves ahead of Alonso after Alonso's poor race that time out. Kevin Magnussen also scores his first points of the season. He's now level on points with us. And a few other positions down the order for drivers not currently scoring any points. And then in the Constructors' Championship, nothing changes here either at the moment. But yeah, it's shaping up to be an exciting season, that's for sure. So I'm excited to see what is to come. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.